Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of One Pod Life. This week's episode is with Ben Firth, who is now over on the Sunshine Tour, trying to forge his career as he's turned pro only in 2020. Now, even though he turned pro in 2020, he's already had 3 professional wins. He's managed to win Open qualifying, regional twice, and he's also set an English amateur course record of 64. We talk about his career so far and how he's going out to South Africa to really push on and forge himself a career as a professional golfer. So please welcome Ben Firth. So hey Ben, welcome to the One Pod Life podcast. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me. That's
right. Good to see you. Obviously, we talk quite a bit, obviously, in the energy group every day, but it's good to actually have a one-to-one with you.
It is, yeah. I mean, we'll probably see each other every day, every morning at 9 o'clock, but it's nice to be doing something a bit different other than talking about positive mental attitudes and all that. So.
No, definitely. But look, for people who don't know Ben, he currently playing on the Sunshine Tour, Euro Pro Tour as well. He turned pro in 2020, so not long ago, and he's already had 3 professional wins. But Ben, we're going to start with the age-old question of how did you actually get into playing golf?
Well, I actually started playing by caddying for my dad, and I was injured. I was originally a rugby player. And some people wouldn't believe it, but I was a prop forward, and I had a lot more weight on me at the time, and I got heavily injured, bust my Achilles, and then had loads of growing problems afterwards from not doing much exercise. And then I fell into it by injury and just going and caddying for my dad, having a go with his clubs, and then just fell in love with it. Really, I for some reason I couldn't really do any other sport, so I decided to stick to that one. And it was gone pretty well so far.
Yeah, I would say that. So how long had your dad been playing golf? And obviously you said before you played obviously a lot more rugby, so golf wasn't really on your sort of radar. But has your dad played for years and then, like you say, you got injured and he just thought, come on with me to get out a bit?
Yeah, well, like being honest, I'd put on a lot of weight, and I was like 12, 13 at the time, and I was putting loads of weight on. I was just playing Xbox all the time, Call of Duty, and I played that all the time. I couldn't really take part in PE sports at school because of it, and it was literally the only way he thought. I think he actually paid me. Like he said, if you come and do it for me, I'll give you 20 quid. It's the only way he could motivate me to do it. Otherwise, I'd say no. I ended up going and caddying for him, and I think I played my first round of golf like a couple of months later, and I've recently just done a blog on that as well, talking about that with a couple of lads.
No, good stuff. So that was around when he was about, like you said, he was about 12, 13. And then what happened from that moment on? Obviously, like you said, you've caddied for him, you hit his clubs a few times, and you fell in love with the game. So what was the process for the next 3-4 years until he was about 17?
Well, I would say the first year was strange because I joined a golf club, and it was basically I really, the junior team section there wasn't really wanting any more juniors, and they had really good players there, and I didn't really fit in with the squad at all. So I ended up joining another golf club called Scarcroft, and with a friend of mine called Sam, and we basically just did it like the junior team every week, and we ended up going. They didn't have a team at all. I ended up taking them from the very lowest level right up to the top. We ended up winning they call it the Leeds and District Junior Knockout, but It doesn't sound like a thing ever. But it was, at the time, it was a really, really huge thing for us all. And I think we won that when we were 16, and we were all really good friends at the time. And we've all kind of stayed in touch since. So
great stuff. Because I think when you were, what was it? You got down to again looking through your website, which has been a great help for me when it comes to doing some research. Normally I'm digging around the deepest, darkest parts of Google to find out information about people, but you made it easy for me. When you, sort of like sixth form, you got down to a handicap of 3.2. And again, was that just through, because I also noticed that you didn't actually have any lessons until you got down to that sort of level. Was that correct?
Yeah, well, I was still quite overweight until I was about 18 years old. And I used to I was practicing all the time, never really had lessons. I think the only lesson I did have was we went for a Woodall Spa group session, the 3 juniors, just to do a bit of short game. But apart from that, I'd never even had a swing lesson or anything like that. And then I started having lessons when I was about 17, 18. For some reason, the swing coach at the time was like, basically because I was in a bad shape, he then put me onto a bit of a fitness guy who put on blitz classes, or golf blitz cast as he calls them, and I ended up losing a load of weight, having lessons, and then suddenly I went from 3 to +2 in about 2 months. But it was crazy how fast it all went. But I haven't made as much improvement as that ever, and I don't think it was such a huge gap in improvement in the short space of time.
What do you think led to that success of dropping? Obviously, you've done really well to get down to 3.2 as you were, and like you said, you had to shed quite a bit of weight. Obviously, I just want to mention it, but that was quite a huge amount of weight that you did shift. Or was it purely that you started to actually understand how to hit a golf ball?
Well, it was a bit of both. I mean, I would say I've always been kind of good at thinking my way around a golf course. I've never been the most talented. I would admit it, I do not strike the ball best compared to some of the lads I played with. The junior team we're in, I was by far the worst ball striker. But for some reason, I was able to manage it well around the course. And I mean, I watched so much golf on TV and watched all the players, watched YouTube videos, and just carried on learning. And it just seemed to, as soon as I got a bit fit for it, it all kind of went well. And I think I was a 17 and a half stone, and to get down to 3 handicap at that weight is quite a good achievement in itself. So I think it was just bound to happen after I got into shape a little bit.
No, definitely. And then obviously from that, you had a really good sort of county level where you was pretty successful. I could be all day reading off the things that you did, but I guess in your own words, how did you find then sort of moving into county level and sort of late teens and playing that way?
Well, the strange thing is, like, there's so many young lads now that have been through the county coaching and the Yorkshire coaching stuff, and I never even went to it. I was never good enough to go there. And then suddenly I started playing well in they call them Yorkshire Order of Merit events, which are just 36-hole one-dayers. And you turn up, play 36 holes, and you walk off and you're absolutely shattered. Yeah. Winning, I think I won 3 in one of this in, I think, 2015. And even after I'd done that, I still didn't seem to fit in with the Yorkshire stuff, and they didn't pick me until like a year after that. After I'd finally done some stuff at national level, so I never did it the normal way. It was, I'd never even got picked for Yorkshire, but then when I was picked, I was well in. But I think it's always the same with stuff nowadays. It's like it's very hard to get in, but once you're in, you're in.
Yeah, I've noticed that a few people have spoken about like county sort of level. It's kind of, I guess you could call it being the clique, really, isn't it? You need to know people to be part of it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like before I got into it, I was always like thinking, I don't really need this either. But like some of the experiences and playing for them and like representing them and wearing the logo and whatever, it was a great honour. And I think I won one of the games. I went out first, and for some reason I was like, my dad the day before was like, "You're going out first for Yorkshire tomorrow." So she'd gone from it was someone who didn't even get picked to the junior in the Yorkshire juniors to you're going out first. And I mean, it's not like a huge thing now when I look back to it, but at the time it was quite a big thing for me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it was a stepping stone for the career, isn't it? And obviously that the confidence that they gave you by putting you out first, obviously then led forward to the rest of your career.
Yeah, and also Yorkshire is such a huge county as well. It's not a small county. It's one of the, and usually most of the time that the Yorkshire boys are in the England squad, or they were in previous years anyway. They used to take over the England squad as well as him. So.
No, good stuff. I also noticed that you had the course record for an English amateur course of 64. First of all, where was that, and does it still exist?
That was 2019, and it was the most strangest round of golf ever because I actually almost missed my tee time. And right. The night before, it was the second round of the English Amateur, and it was at a course called Northants. A lot of people have heard of it down south. It's where Justin Rose is based. And the first day, I played at Hankley Common, where the main place was, and I basically was just not feeling well at all of the day. In fact, I ended up trying to book an emergency hospital appointment in the evening because I was just felt dehydrated and also, but more details of that. But the next day, I didn't sleep well at all, and I almost missed my tee time. And I remember I'd hit like a couple of balls on the range, and there was a lad called Bailey Gill, who's well known in the England stuff, and he was like, "Ben, are you?" I swear you're on the tee. I'm teeing off 20 minutes after you, and I'm about to go to. I'm thinking, what are you on about? So I literally just went straight from the range straight to the first tee. Didn't hit a shot, and I ended up 3-putting the first and second holes. And I still, for some reason, something just clicked, and I ended up with no preparation at all. Went and shot the course record in the English Amateur, and I remember it for a long time. It's such a strange round of golf, and it came out of nowhere, really.
Maybe that's the way forward. No, I'm joking.
No, but like, it's a big lesson for me because I take my preparation so seriously, and when I didn't have that preparation, it was like I completely went into panic mode. And to still perform when you're trying to get through to the English Amateur match play stage, and it was such an important event. And to perform out of it with no preparation beforehand was great. And with all that, the problems the night before as well, I mean, it was strange, and I hope I can try and take that forward. I try and take that attitude forward. I don't actually need the full preparation as long as I'm mentally ready for it. You can compete at any level.
Yeah, I was about to say, moving on, that's probably what got you through. Obviously, you said the first 2 holes weren't the best, but then obviously the last 16 were really good. And that probably did go down to your mentality, and probably, I guess, you could call it getting out of your way, I guess, to then perform to the best of your ability.
It also took the pressure off as well. Like, there was no pressure then. You're going out and you're like, well, I've had no preparation. I've not hit a single putt on the putting green. No chips, and like the first hole, I think I knocked my putt 12 foot past the hole from about 30 feet maybe. Yep. And just I had no sense of speed. The thing is, you could have been like, oh, well, you did your preparation the day before, but the English Amateur is on 2 different courses. The day before, I'd played in chucking down rain, and the next day it's beaming sunshine. So it was quite amazing how I managed to turn that round around. And but unfortunately, I did shoot the course record, but the next day I got knocked out of the match play stages down the 18th, which is a bit of a bummer, but it was I hate match play.
Well, at least you could take the course record with you. And like I said, does it still exist, you know?
I don't know. No, I'm not sure about that. But to be fair, I didn't think it was a course record because I think someone had shot a 63, but they changed the course par. I think they changed the hole from a par 4 to a par 5 on that week. So it was a brand new week for the course record. But I knew it still stood after that week. So that was one thing I could take out of it.
No, definitely. I'd like to have that to my name at some point.
Yeah, so.
Cool. Okay, moving slightly on to into your career a bit more, and obviously, I noticed that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you did you win the Open regional qualifying 2 years in a row, 2018 and 19?
So I did win it 2 years in a row, but completely different ways of doing it. But the first year was 2018, and I forgot to enter. I entered quite late for the regional qualifying in Leeds, which is at All Woodley Golf Club. So I had to travel over to Fairhaven, which is over in Blackpool near Lytham St Anne's, just over the road from it. And it was completely burnt out that year, and I've never hit the ball as good in my life round there, and putted horrendous, but I got it round in level par. And the course was just playing so firm and fiery. Like, it was just so difficult to keep it on the green, and like, you just played away from pins all the time. It wasn't a low scoring day, and to turn around after the round, I couldn't believe I was still the leading score with level par. And then vice versa to that, the next year was completely different. I'd travelled up the night before. I'd been down south to playing the Berkshire Trophy, played no practice round again, and literally I just went off the fields from the previous year. But it was a bit of a different golf course to the year previously. It was a bit softer, but still really firm. And I just missed the cut at the Berkshire as well in the competition down south. And I was not playing well at all. I couldn't hit driver straight. And the only thing I had was my short game and putting. And I ended up shooting 5 under par, hitting 6 greens on the day. And the putting performance was, I think I remember it on golf, because I do all my stats on Golf Data Lab. It was plus 7.8 for the day. And it doesn't seem believable, but I've got a screenshot of it on my phone, still records of it. It was a crazy round of golf, and I've never touched driver once, but it was 5 shots better than this previous year. And for some reason, I just didn't. I turned up to that event not thinking about anything other than I have to win, because I love playing in final qualifying of the Open, because it's such a big event and everyone wants to play in the Open. I don't know why. I just have this increased amount of motivation to get through over just regular amateur events, and that's one of the main reasons I decided to turn pro. Was basically because amateur golf I'd been playing for quite a number of years, and it felt like I wasn't playing for anything really. But I've been to events as an amateur as well.
Okay, you almost got that Brooks Koepka mentality then when it comes to the bigger games. I would say, but I mean, for some reason, the bigger events I'm much more motivated for, and if it's not really something to play for that I've played in before, or you feel like you're already at that level, I feel like you're trying up your game to raise it against better players. And to be fair, I've always been quite realistic. I know that I'm not the best ball striker, again, even now, years on, but I know that I can get it around a golf course a lot smarter than a lot of other golfers. I like it. So I'm guessing obviously this year you're going to try and go to the Open qualifying again and get through to the next stage, and hopefully go one step further and get to the actual Open.
Yeah, I mean, every time I've gone to final qualifying, I have literally shot my spine out. It's just 5 holes are just so nervous. And last year I played with a guy called Ryan Evans, who was previous on tour, and a guy called Jamie Abbott. Mm-hmm. And we burst out at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was half asleep, and I think I shot high 70s, maybe an 80 maybe. But I decided to play the second round, and I managed to shoot 4 under for the second round. So I know for next time I can shoot under par. And it was 4 under round Hollingwell, which is where I did the qualifying. That was a really good confidence boost for next time when I go there, and hope I can hold my spine together.
It's just, I've been teeing off at 6:30. What time did you get up? 4 in the morning? Probably a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah. It was an extra. So the preparation for that event, I've never ever teed off at 6 o'clock in the morning before. I've teed off at 7, but 6 o'clock is different stuff. I watched a video of Tiger, and I probably shouldn't have done, but before he comes over to the Open, they did a video saying, "Oh, hi, it's Tiger. I'm here at 1 a.m. in the morning." And I'm like, why is he doing that? But he's getting ready for the Open because of the time zone difference. And that just shows his commitment to the game. So I was like, right, you know what? I'm going to get up at 3 o'clock every morning for a week prior to it. But for some reason, I still couldn't get used to it. Like, I just couldn't get to sleep, and I was losing sleep. I just went into the event. It was probably the right thing to do, but something I'd never done before. And I didn't know how to manage it properly. But I thought it's what I need, and that was one of the mistakes I made. But we learned from them.
No, definitely, not to do it next time, or even try and do the same thing again, but maybe in a different way so you can get used to it. After that, I believe you then kind of made a decision that you were going to go over to South Africa, which seems like a really interesting conversation, and you used to look to see if you can qualify on the Sunshine Tour. I guess the question I've got there is, what was your decision to go over to the Sunshine Tour instead of staying in the UK and doing the mini tours? And then, obviously, then tell us the story of how you got on.
Yeah, so basically, like, I'd got to, so that year when I'd had a really good 2019, I finished, my best result was by far the finishing fourth in the Brabazon. And after that event, I was like, I knew I was kind of ready for it. And I just, not really ready for it, but I was ready for the next challenge. And I could do another year as amateur and maybe try and challenge to win one of these big events. But I knew I was capable of it, shooting low rounds. And another thing is I just struggled with 36 holes, and I thought, well, if I can put more energy into just playing 18-hole events, and 18-hole a day events over 4 rounds, I just felt like I didn't have the energy levels for some reason, or the mental energy to carry on with it. And I decided to turn pro for that reason mainly. I decided to go to South Africa because, basically I was not really forced into it, but financially, when you turn pro, it's a very difficult decision of where you go. Europro is going to cost you a fortune. Anywhere you go in the world is going to cost you a fortune. And for me, a friend of mine just mentioned it to me. He said, why don't you come out to South Africa with me? It's literally cost you £15 to enter each event. Says once you're out there, you stay out there, it's going to cost you a lot less in money. And I've never been anywhere further than going out to Portugal, really. I've never been outside of Europe, but it was quite a big place to go. And without him mentioning it, and he just kept showing me pictures and stuff of golf courses over there, and he talked about the climate and saying it's perfect conditions, and he says, mate, you're going to have the best time ever. And I thought, I'm definitely not going to do it because I still can't afford it really, and I still not found a sponsor. And I went back to my coach, and my coach was like, Ben, get yourself out there. You got to start at the deep end. Like, you could do 3 years on Europro and just be stuck on there for ages, which is a lot of lads unfortunately have to do because it's so difficult as a standard on Europro. But then they go onto the Challenge Tour and they're just not used to the travelling of the flights and stuff. So Joe, my coach, was used to play on the Asian Tour, and he says you've got to do it straight away. If you can use your first year as like a test a year for getting that anxiety out of the way of travelling, and it's such a huge thing being thousands of miles away from home and being comfortable with it, because there's a lot of lads out there that don't like travelling at all, and even tour players now, you hear them in interviews and they think the worst thing of the whole thing of playing golf is a lot of the time is spent traveling, and it's not very easy to do. But yeah, I decided I went out to do the Sunshine Tour, and I was still an amateur at the time, and we had like a run of events, of South African amateur events that were big events at the time. I decided to use that as preparation for Sunshine Tour qualifying, and they didn't go well at all. I played absolutely terrible before them. And I decided to basically we just worked really hard in between events. I missed both cuts in them events, And then suddenly I managed to get through both stages. And I didn't shoot over in 8 rounds of golf over 2 stages. I didn't shoot over par for 1 round. And I don't think I've ever done that before.
No, that's great scoring.
Yeah.
No, good stuff. So you managed to get through qualifying school first time, which is fantastic, which then obviously led to you staying out to play a bit more on the Sunshine Tour. So what was the rest of your experience like? And how long was you out there for in total? Like that duration of time, like you said, being away from family and everything?
Well, that one was February last year, and we were there for 5 weeks. And yeah, I literally had the time of my life. But I stayed. It was just in Johannesburg, and from people that I've stayed in Johannesburg before, it's not the easiest place to stay for a long period of time. But a friend of mine was like, right, I'm going over to visit all these different places in South Africa, and because I decided I couldn't really afford to do it. I spent all the money I had at the time, which was some inheritance I had left over, to just send me out there. I had nothing left. And after that finished, we came back, and literally a week later, then the whole world shut down into lockdowns and stuff. So I hadn't actually get back over since.
Right, okay.
So the last time I went, I managed to finally get over in the second lockdown. I got an exemption through, and that was in November gone. I went over and I managed to play in the Monday qualifying for the 3 European Tour events they share over there. But unfortunately, I just missed out by a couple of shots in the two of the 3 events, and the third one it didn't go to plan. But I mean, even from the second time over there and just playing in a couple of Monday qualifiers, it was 100% worth it, the whole experience. And I know next time when I go, which is probably in a couple of weeks' time, because it restarts in March, that's when I know I'll be ready for it, even though I've just had quite a bit of time off. Yeah,
no, I bet you can't wait to get out there.
I can't. I mean, I'm slightly worried and concerned about the whole situation, but I mean, the press has blown it all up a lot, and hearing from friends over there and stuff, they've said the cases infections are very low at the moment, so it's not really any more dangerous than it is from being over here.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
keep yourself safe, and we will be good.
Yeah, I need to try and steal a vaccine from somewhere. My dad's.
Now, One Pod Life is brought to you in partnership with Energy Golf, the leading golf development platform. They are committed to providing a service that allows you to reach your maximum potential by improving your mindset, creating physical longevity, and funding your golf career. What they've done is take professional tour team experience and brought it to you through their platform so you can have your very own tour team in your pocket. Energy Golf offers the ability to learn from leading professionals in the fields of fitness, nutrition, breathing, caddying, psychology, business, as well as proven tour winners and many more. There are also courses based around the mental aspects of golf, such as mental toughness, emotional control, and self-esteem. Visit energy.com to learn more, and to claim your exclusive 1-month free trial, simply send an email with the subject OnePodLife to info@energy.com and enjoy. Now let's get back to the podcast.
Okay, moving on. So you've, I don't know if anyone's actually follows you on Instagram or follows your blog, but obviously you've just started a whole new sort of program called the 100 Club. Obviously I know what it is, but if you could just explain to people exactly what the 100 Club is and how they can get involved. So
basically, I mean, since turning pro, I've had absolutely no interest in sponsorship. I mean, mainly because of COVID and stuff. And so many people have lost money, and they're really struggling to financially. And is anyone really looking to sponsor golfers at the moment, of my level anyway, who are up and coming pros? I mean, I'm not hearing anybody get any unless they've already got someone from the golf club helping them out from a friend's point of view. But it's so difficult. So I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna. When I came back in December, I'd used like the rest of my inheritance. I'd also got made redundant from my job, and I decided, right, I need to really publicise myself. I need to make a website. I need to maybe do a blog. I mean, my heart wasn't massively into making a blog just because of the hard work you have to put into it. But I decided to do it, put it all together, and it took me all of December and probably half of January to do it, and worked extremely hard of it, watched videos from everywhere to make. it all look professional. And the 100 Club is basically just an addition to all this. And I've also been working with this new athlete support network called Energy, who you're involved with yourself,
yep.
who have the opportunity to offer 100 Club. Well, if people who give you £100 for the 100 Club, offer them something back so they can have the chance of maybe getting that £100 back, which has been great. Instead of just asking people for money, they're actually getting some kind of value. And that's what I'm mainly trying to show a bit of value and also get people more involved in my journey and more publicity for sponsorship. And even just this weekend, I've released it on Tuesday. I've got 12 guys already donated £100, and I had a conversation with the guy yesterday on about maybe sponsoring me for the year, which would take so much pressure off me for the year, because it is such a big worry at the moment.
Oh, fantastic, mate. Well done. Last time I spoke to you, you had 7, so well done. And yeah, that guy coming in saying he might sponsor you for the whole season. Fantastic. I like it.
Yeah.
What I'll do is obviously at the end of when I do the wrap up of the podcast, and in the notes I'll put all your contact details, website, and how they can get to it for you. So yeah, mate, I think that's a great overview of what you've been going through since you started playing golf at 13 to where you are today. And hopefully, like you said, a couple of weeks' time, you can get back out to South Africa and play on the Sunshine Tour properly. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing your scores when you get out there. But yeah, what we're going to do now is move into a couple of quick questions I've got written down here, and I've got a little something special at the end, which I hope you quite like. Okay. What we're going to do is, so on your website, like I said, you made my life a lot easier. So you said that your favourite 4-ball would be Tiger Woods, Tyson Fury, and Seth Rogen. I just wanted to know why you chose those 3.
Well, obviously Tiger Woods is my main source of inspiration for golf. He's not you wouldn't be inspired by his off the course, but what he's done for the game, and I just love watching him. And I don't really watch golf unless he's playing. He doesn't really have that draw for me, and I know that sometimes he doesn't play well and he does things on the course a little bit, and people have started to notice this. But I've always thought of him the same way. I'm like, wow, is this the best golfer ever had best person to ever have a golf club in his hand? And he pulls off shots that just nobody else seems to ever be able to pull off. So obviously he has to be in the 4-ball. If you didn't put him in, something's wrong with you. I chose Tyson Fury because I'm reading his book at the moment, and I've always been like, I wasn't really a fan of Tyson at first, and basically obviously with his problems as well, and having a few little comparisons to myself, I've really felt like his story has been really powerful for me, and like his weight loss and his struggles mentally, and he's just seems like a really, really great inspiration for people. And yeah, I know it probably goes exit on a little bit, but he's done a huge amount for me. And I just find him, like, there's so many boxers and sportsmen out there that just don't really make the effort to entertain, and I feel like he's just something completely different. And I do find him funny as well, so I would love to have a laugh with him.
No, good stuff.
And I would say Seth Rogen, because like every film I watch with Seth Rogen, and he's just absolutely in stitches. And I think he would be a perfect match for Tyson Fury. And I know Tiger has a bit of a loud mouth as well with some of his comments. It'd be quite a ball, I think.
Good stuff. Okay, next question. If you could go back and tell your younger self anything, what would it be?
Tough question. That I would say maybe be a bit more patient and let things come to you instead of really rushing out and grabbing it straight away. And one of the main things would be is learn how to rest and try not to burn out, because I've pushed myself when I lost the weight, and really, really pushed myself with the golf practice and stuff. And I just got to the point where it just got too much. I was almost like this robot that just literally lived and breathed golf. I didn't do anything else. I had no life, and I sacrificed so many like parties when I was younger, and I didn't even go to like prom and stuff when I was at school. I had golf tournaments. I haven't celebrated my birthday since, well, I don't think I ever have actually properly celebrated until last couple of years, and I do kind of regret that. I wish I just kind of did it, but then again, would I have got to the level I had done if I'd not been that strict with myself? But that would be the only advice I would give myself, is just learn how to take a day off. And I think I have started to know that.
Oh, good stuff. Okay. And the last kind of thing for the actual podcast itself is the reason why I started doing it. As obviously, you know, I've got aspirations of being a professional myself. And the reason I started doing it was to understand what you guys go through, and then really to see what the next steps are for me. And I guess this part is, if you could give any aspiring golfer top 3 tips on how to become a professional golfer, what would they be?
Top 3 tips is fitness. I would look at your fitness, and I wouldn't say look at everything you look on the Instagram. I would go and get yourself a proper fitness expert as such, or a physio. I would say a physio first. I would learn how to really, in saying that, I would say try and really learn how to control your body better and becoming injury free. So you protect your body as young as possible, because injuries are such a key thing. Secondly would be just maybe even look into a sports psychologist. I know this all costs money, but there's so many things online nowadays. One thing I would do, because I spent a lot of money. I worked and I spent all my wage on my golf, and I ended up spending on a sports psychologist. And I would say, there's a book called The Pressure Principle. I haven't got it somewhere, by Dave Allred. And everything I learned in them years that I worked with a sports psychologist is in that book. It's in there. And if you haven't read it, you must read it. And it's literally like my Bible now. So that will be something there. And number 3 is short game. Spend all your time on the putting green and chipping, and don't just do the basic drills you see online. Make it really, really creative, and try and really think outside the box, and just look at, there's so many different drills you can do, and probably that is where people go the wrong way down. Find what works for you. Don't go on to something else, and really concentrate on them drills that you think that work for you. And if they don't work, do try something different, but don't just change it all the time. Stick to that drill, because you look at all the top players. Tiger's got the same drill. He's got his gate drill every single day, or whenever he's playing in his tournament rounds, he's just doing the same drill, hitting through the gate. He'll always do it one arm, right-handed putting technique as well, where he just goes one-handed, stroke after stroke. And it's the same with, if you look at all the top pros, all their routines never change, really. They know what works and they stick to it. And I know with the energy guys, they always say, whoever the ones that are successful are people that do things consistently over a long period of time. And I think that's such a key advice, is make sure you stick to what works.
No, definitely. I've actually got the book, that one you mentioned, on my book list that I've got. It keeps growing every day. So at some point I'll get to reading that book. Yeah,
I mean, there are some parts of the book that you don't really need, but there's so many key points, especially with language and talking to yourself. And it's helped me so much with my attitude on the golf course, and just I just have freed up so much in the last couple of years, and taking the pressure off, and learning how to deal with nerves as well. Like, I used to get really nervous when I was younger, and I still get nervous now. And I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. I think that book has made me learn that nerves are something that you need to perform at your highest. If you don't have them, you can't perform at your highest potential. So, okay. Yeah, that book explains it all. It's great.
Good stuff. Well, I said it's on my list. I'll definitely be reading it, and obviously people listening to this will probably be going out right now to buy it. So, good stuff. Okay, last thing I'm going to leave you with, you're going to leave us with, actually, is you said on your website that if you weren't a golfer, you'd be a comedian. So, leave us with your best joke you've ever told.
Wow, that's put me on the spot. Well, best joke is the fact that I've got absolutely no chance of being a comedian because I'm shocking at stand-up. So I'll leave it on that. I mean, I'm not even going because nobody's going to laugh at me. So.
No, I'm joking, mate. No worries. I just thought it'd be quite a fun thing to leave with because you said you would be. So
more sarcastic than a comedian. I can't take things seriously, but I've tried to sit down for 20 minutes right now to try and take it.
No, good stuff. Look, Ben, thanks very much for coming on the podcast and giving us an insight into yourself and your history and where you're going, obviously, in the future. Good luck when you get over to South Africa and play on the Sunshine Tour.
I'll get on.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe you can try and, obviously, you got your blog out, which I'll put at the end. People can follow you and your journey. So, no, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Lloyd.
So a massive thank you there to Ben for coming on and giving us his assessment on how he's been doing so far in his career and the plans he's got for the Sunshine Tour, which is actually out there now. I think he's playing in his second tournament of a couple of weeks and looking forward to seeing how we got on. Now, if you guys want to get involved and help Ben with his 100 club, if you head over to benfirthgolf.com and you'll be able to find out all the information you need to know, read his blog and make any sort of contribution to his 100 club. So thanks again to Ben for coming on and I hope you guys have a great week.